What up, your boy C. Rizzy coming at you with Unit 3, Lesson 2, Properties of Parallel Lines. Our essential question of the day is what conclusions can I draw from the angle pair relationships that we learned from the last section if the lines are parallel? And our objective is to prove theorems about parallel lines and to use properties of parallel lines to find angle measures. Our essential understanding is that the special angle pairs formed by parallel lines in their transversal are congruent, supplementary, or both. Okay, so we've already talked about what corresponding angles are: alternate interior angles, same side interiors, and alternate exterior angles. Now, what if I told you that there were theorems that go along with these as well? So, if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, alternate exterior angles are congruent, and the same side interior angles are supplementary, not congruent. So, if I'm looking at this picture, okay, use the graphic organizer and diagram to find each congruent angle. So, by theorem 3.2, angle 3 is congruent to angle, well, what's 3.2 again? Corresponding angles. So corresponding to angle 3 would be angle 1. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 1. Theorem 3.1, which says alternate interior angles are congruent, then angle 3 would be congruent to its alternate interior angle, which would be angle 4. Not 4, 7. And then by 3.3, which is alternate exterior angles theorem, angle 1 would be congruent to angle 5 by alternate exterior angles theorem. Okay, so can you always find the measures of all 8 angles when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal? Explain. And the answer is yes. So, first what I want to do is I want to find all the angles that are congruent to the given angle. So angle 1 has to be 55 degrees. And the reason angle 1 is 55 degrees is because of vertical angles theorem. 5 has to be 55 degrees because of alternate interior angles theorem. And then 7 has to be 55 degrees. And there's two ways we could have proven that. One by corresponding angles, or by the fact that since we found 5 was 55, 7 is vertical. Now, we said before about same side interior angles being supplementary, but right here, with this angle and angle 4, I have a linear pair, and linear pair angles are supplementary. So 180 minus 55 is 125 degrees. So angle 4 would have to be 125 degrees. 2 is 125 degrees, 8 is 125 degrees, and 6 is 125 degrees. So when you have parallel lines, there's only 2 different angle measures, and those 2 different angle measures have to be supplementary to one another. Proving angle pair relationships. All right, so let's say I told you that A was parallel to B. Prove angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. So my first statement, A parallel to B. My second statement, my reason is if lines are parallel, then corresponding angles are congruent. All right, so I know what my pair of corresponding angles here is. Let's say 1 is congruent to angle 7 by, angle 7. 1 is congruent to angle 5 by corresponding angles theorem. Congruent angles have the same measure, so I'm assuming they want me to write the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 5. Vertical angles are congruent, so I know that angle 5 is then congruent to angle 7. Congruent angles have the same measure again. The measure of angle 5 is equal to the measure of angle 7. By the transitive property of equality, the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 7, and angles with equal measures are congruent, so then I can say angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. It was not necessary to have to write out all these steps about the measures of angles, but this is the reason that they gave us. So these are the statements that had to have been done. Okay, lastly, in the figure at the right, what are the values for x and y? The bases of the trapezoid are parallel to one another. Use the same side interior angles postulate to complete each statement. Okay, so same side interior angles. These are same side interior angles, and these are same side interior angles. So 2x plus x minus 12 equals 180, and 3y plus y plus 20 equals 180. So they want us to solve each equation. 3x minus 12 equals 180. 3x equals 192. That's if I added 12 to both sides. Divide by 3. X equals 64 for this one. And over here I have 4y plus 20 equals 180. If I subtract 20 from both sides, 4y equals 160. Divide by 4, y equals 40. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of new information here. We've already know about all the alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior angles. Now we're just giving them more information if the lines were parallel. All right, that's it for me.